So you know Nike. They made hundreds of commercials with million-dollar budgets, huge crew, famous athletes to create the most cinematic, incredible and perfect ad. And then there's Casey Neistat's ad for Nike. 720p, grainy footage, basic text and basic editing with no VFX. Well, this has 32 million views. It's one of the most iconic videos on YouTube, and it's technically bad. It's imperfect. But as it turned out, imperfect was better than perfect. Something's going on here. Our tech, our music, our content, our movies, how we talk, how we write, have always aimed at being the most nice, perfect and flawless. But now things are going the exact opposite way. And it's all the fault of technology. When I say computer, you'll probably think of this, maybe this, or this one, but you probably wouldn't think of this. Well, these are the original computers. Before computers became things, computers were people. It was a job. It was spending your day manually making hundreds, thousands of calculations by hand. This was the type of job where you needed to be perfect. You needed incredible attention to detail because any mistakes could have huge repercussions. During the space race in the 1960s, NASA was employing an army of these computers to calculate launch trajectories, flight plans, and all of these calculations needed to be just perfect, or a multi-billion-dollar spacecraft could fail, or even worse, kill the astronauts on board. Perfection was hard, but it was needed. And just like that, they were gone. So much so that today, for most people, computer is the thing, not the job. This is me during the last day of preschool. I know, I had Riz. I have spent 18 years of my life in school, and from here all the way to university, I've always been told that I should try to be perfect, check my grammar, present myself in a formal and professional way. If what I did was perfect, I got a smiley face in elementary school, a 10 in high school, a 30 in university. And being perfect was really hard. But then technology happened. Suddenly you have a spreadsheet with millions of cells and you can trust that all the calculations will be correct. You can make a professional looking video on your own with a phone and computer without a crew of 30 people. With ChatGPT you can generate professional looking essays and nicely formatted emails in 3 seconds, something that would take 2 hours before. Technology made perfection easy, almost trivial. And in doing so, it completely f***ed up society's plans for perfection. Last week I was talking with a friend of mine that teaches at a university in Milan. She told me how she was grading students' assignments and how now if she finds a grammatical error in an assignment, she immediately marks it as a fail. She told me that there's no excuse anymore. You can proofread something in seconds with ChatGPT or any LLM. Now that perfection is easy, that's what she expects. But then I was chatting with Mattia. He helps me write and research these videos, and he's studying in university. And he told me something interesting. His professor takes the entirely opposite approach. He looks for errors and mistakes in essays and values them positively. If he finds a double space, something misspelled, a punctuation error, he is happy because it proves to him that this has been written by a human, by a real person. When perfection was hard, we really valued it. Our society was built on that. But now that technology has commoditized perfection, it's the imperfections that become valuable. Now, this also means that we should let our tech do what it does best, which is to clean up after us. And to clean up the mess that's on your Mac, there's the sponsor of this video, Clean My Mac. Yes, your computer calculates precisely millions of times every second, but somehow it ends up always being full of unneeded junk files, apps that take up space, and over time it just naturally turns into a cluttered mess. So for all this, there's the all-new Clean My Mac. It does the dirty work of deleting gigabytes of unneeded file, uninstall unused apps. It makes your Mac safer and more organized. You can use Smart Care to run a comprehensive scan of your Mac. With Performance, you can check which maintenance tasks your Mac needs most. And with the Menu app, you have a one-stop shop to check network performance, CPU and memory. And all of this now comes with a sleeker and cleaner interface. Clean My Mac is available for purchase on the MacPo website, Mac App Store and Setup. You can check the link in the description for a 7-day free trial. And now let's get back to the video. So what do these have in common? These are all very famous sitcoms, but most importantly, they all look like sitcoms. There is a sitcom look, and it's fairly clearly defined. Deep depth of field where everything is in focus, 3 cameras shooting at the same time, almost no color grading, and very flat lights that create little contrast. This is also very similar to how TV programs look. Everything here is professional, it's clearly visible. Everything is perfect. This is the type of content, the type of aesthetic that my parents have gotten used to. Now compare this to Ryan Trahan, who gets more views on YouTube than most professional-looking TV programs. Uses wonky thumbnails, technically bad animations made with a Photoshop cursor, bad audio, bad framing. He's imperfect, almost purposefully bad. But his videos show that he's human. Have you ever come across one of those fully AI-generated videos and immediately closed it? Those videos have nothing wrong with them. And actually, that's the problem. They are technically perfect, but totally unremarkable. Take KFC. A billion-dollar company. They have the budget for professional ads and photos, and that's what they used to do. It was perfect. And it didn't work because everyone else was doing the exact same thing. Well, this is the Instagram page of KFC in Spain, and they post stuff like this or this one. Nonsensical, absurd, and technically just bad videos, but they work like crazy. And other companies are doing the same. This imperfect look, this aesthetic is spreading everywhere. The latest social app that's skyrocketing to millions of users right now as I'm making this video is called Verse. And it allows you to create these boards where you can put stickers, images, links, but you can clearly see that the aesthetic of these is technically bad, unorganized, messy, and imperfect. Sales of old cheap digital cameras from the 2000s, like this one, are way up. So much that these things are actually become expensive again. When we have smartphones that can take perfect photos in any condition, we now want photos that are blurry and noisy. Damn, I even bought this camera. This is the Fuji X100V. It's expensive as hell, and its main feature is that it recreates the look and feel of film. It even adds grain, imperfections, and tints to the photos. Let me say that again. The main selling point of this $1,500 camera is that you can add imperfections to your photo. And this thing is sold out everywhere. You cannot find one new even if you try. The tech products it has so far always try to embody this idea of being perfect, perfectly symmetrical, perfectly concentrical, everything neatly organized in a grid, where all the colors are perfectly matched by design. But even tech is starting to take the first steps away from this and towards imperfection. Google's Material You design language that they introduced in 2021 is built around the idea of personal imperfection. The colors throughout the entire UI are taken from your wallpaper, and since most likely we all have different wallpapers, this creates a color combination that's unique to you, even though sometimes it may be a bit weird. When I type in my password, I get these different shapes instead of circles. The widgets are weirdly shaped, they are even rotating. Even Apple, that's always want to be the perfect company making the perfect products, is starting to give in a bit. iOS 18 introduced the ability to tint your icons of any color you want. Now, are most people gonna create horrific color combinations? Yes, but you know what else this is? Human and imperfect. I'm seeing this firsthand even in the small things. This was the thumbnail for one of my YouTube videos. Looks okay, but what I did in this new version is that I added imperfections on the screen. You see pixels, scratches, and fingerprints to make it more real, more rugged, more imperfect. And guess what? The new thumbnail ended up performing way better than the original. This is the reason why Star Wars was and still is a smash hit. Other sci-fi universes like Star Trek or 2001: A Space Odyssey are made of these clean and shiny worlds, perfect starship, clean corridors, while Star Wars was the first sci-fi movie to create a world that looks imperfect but real, where it feels like people are actually living. The ships are often in bad shape, made of scrap, or they don't work at all. Cities are worn down. And this doesn't stop to aesthetics though. It's also in the way we communicate. When I was working at my corporate job at Amazon, I eventually had to learn bullshit corporate lingo that doesn't make sense in any regular conversation. I mean, what regular person says, let's circle back on ways we can find synergies between our teams? Well, it's no coincidence that this is exactly the style of writing that LLMs like ChatGPT will reply you with. Because they've been trained of millions of corporate documents, formally crafted blog posts and emails, and this is how they all sound. We ask AI to write for us this formal bullshit, then we send it to people, and then whenever they get it, they ask AI to summarize it back to plain English. I get probably 200 emails every single week because of this channel, and I don't reply to 98% of them.
Respected sir, I am writing to express my sincere interest as a video editor, seeking opportunity at your hand.
Delete. We'd like you to consider our services. Delete. And the 2% of emails that I end up replying to are those that are short, informal, sometimes with grammatical errors, but they show me that there's actually a human being on the other side. This is huge. Our society teaches us that we should be perfect. Write good, sound good, look good, and back in the day, this was actually hard. But technology has made all these things easy and accessible, so much that now they just don't matter that much. Now that tech has commoditized perfection, imperfection is how you actually stand out. When Bob Ross painted something wrong, he called that a happy accident, because it forced him to use the mistake to make something new. In music, there isn't such a thing as a wrong note. It's what you play afterwards that makes it right. So the best thing we can do right now is keep being what we are. Imperfect, weird, and just plain bad. But have you ever wondered what our world would look like if we didn't invent the smartphone or even the internet? Well, you can take a peek into these alternative timelines and more in this video right here. I'm Enrico, and I'll see you in the next one.